I feel there's a lot less singing these days.
I've actually had it happen to me for real.
The only times we tend to surface will be to give a little wave and say, hi, we're in the area. Beware.
May the wind be in your favor as you race against time to collect the merchant's required cargo and deliver it safely.
Quite often when we get our mission briefings, we tend to be a little bit closer to the area, and then rather than have a ghost captain tell us what to do, we'll be briefed over the ship's full main.
On a surface ship, we do have a very similar wheel. It's not as big anymore. It's quite short and stubby now, and that's located like it is on here on the bridge, but the bridge now is close to the front of the ship.
Obviously these days we no longer go by sail. We have perfected moving technology to use fuel, be it diesel power, electrical power or nuclear power. So the closest comparison we have in our navy would be the Victory, which is down in Portsmouth. It looks very similar to what we're sailing here, but mostly our operational platforms are a lot more metal these days. Prime example of why I enjoy playing Sea of Thieves, because this gives me a little bit of a break. Lets me actually enjoy the open seas and see where I'm going. As a submariner, we tend to be under the water and not have such great views of the ocean. I feel there's a lot less singing these days. Definitely on submarines, we have to make as little noise as possible. However, we tend to write our own songs about whatever situations we're in, and the songs are always played as a laugh. We make noise, we have fun. Fire! So in terms of weaponry, we don't use standard cannons anymore, but ship, we do have something similar.
As you can see in the clip, they're firing things from the back end that explode. That looks very similar to a torpedo in my eyes. If you go into a smaller boat, like a patrol vessel, they sometimes have 30mm cannons, which is like a smaller version or smaller caliber of weapon system.
Typically, when we have war games or confrontations like this, there's a lot more stealth involved. A lot of our weaponries have capability of over-horizon targeting. We nowadays do not get this close to our intended targets. On submarines, we intend for our targets to never see us. We fire and we leave.
With the high-speed manoeuvres that you can see with circling around port and starboard, that on the surface is a tactic that's still used today.
Give the orders, sir! Brace!
The brace drill, that is a very common use term still today. It's a general alarm, which is a really loud type of siren that's played throughout the ship. I've actually had it happen to me for real.
They're hit us, sir!
This is a fairly rough approximation of a U-boat. This would be Germany's second or third iteration of their submarines that they used during World War II. So here they're operating 150 meters. As you go deeper down in the water becomes less buoyant and can become a danger to us as it crushes the submarine. We still have diesel power as an option available on board our submarines. However, every submarine that the Royal Navy operates now uses nuclear power for our propulsion and to create electricity for other uses. Our messes on board are a little bit more well placed than this. Here we can see the character just walking through all the bunk spaces, walking through all the living areas. Our living areas are separated from the main transit areas to allow a little bit more peace and quiet for when we're sleeping. The galleys we have on board are significantly bigger than what is shown here to allow our wonderful chefs to provide us some amazing scran.
The ships used are very old school, like early World War I, early World War II type vessels. It tends to focus more on main naval gunfire, which is not what usually happens. We still have a naval gun with only one barrel, but our main fighting force capability is usually an air-to-air missile or a surface-to-surface missile.
So, who on board surface ships are the ones firing the gun?
In Warfare Specialist branch, you have AWTs, which are above water tactical, so radar operators. You have AWWs, which are your main above water weapons. It's the AWWs that tend to deal with the 4.5 main gun and small arms. As a sonar operator, hearing sounds of marine mammals such as whales and dolphins is very similar to what you can hear in your game. You tend to also hear a lot of plankton. It is quite loud, surprisingly.
Glass on the front of submarines is quite uncommon. The deeper you go into the ocean, the less the light can penetrate. Advertising like this wouldn't work unless it was obscenely crystal clear water. Glass unfortunately has a tendency to break, so under high pressure of depth, it's not the best building material. We see just at the end there's a lot of bubbles lifting up before they go on the lift. When our propulsors create bubbles, it's called cavitation. That creates a lot of noise and can give away your position.
We just got raised to Alert 1. Plans have changed. We're launching now.
The passageways on a ship with all the pipe work is very similar on board a ship. The signage as well, like this is the quickest ways for an exit, that's all very similar on board an actual ship.
With those big doors, we tend to call them damage control watertight doors. They are purely there so we can seal them, and they are watertight should you lose one part of the boat or the ship.
Having multiple fighter jets flying around, that tends to happen a lot as well, more for a patrol, just to extend your long-range search.
In the clip you can see a small submarine just off to the one side. In reality, that submarine will be dived. The only times we tend to surface anywhere near the strike group like this will be for photo opportunities, or just to give a little wave and say, hi, we're in the area, beware. They have their futuristic holograms while also using the old school, essentially whiteboards, their see-through whiteboards. It's a great combination of showing future technology mixing with slightly more old school technology, pen and paper, and how they both combine together to allow you to successfully operate.
The spacecraft is technically an aircraft carrier. It's just that the aircraft carriers that we have are still in the water and not up in space.
Being a futuristic vessel, there is a lot more space. The mess deck especially that it shows us here, there is a lot of wide open space there that usually is filled with machinery or gaming devices for us as the crew to use. It's great seeing the differences between the fantasy and then seeing those gritty simulation games trying to recreate exactly what it's like on the waves.
I found it really entertaining. It's nice to see that games have that element of real life, how things are operated to a standard that would be suitable for realism.
There is no way of recreating the thrill that we have actually on board, going under the water and doing the things we do. These games are a great attempt, but not close.
To find out more about a career in the Royal Navy, search Royal Navy Role Finder. And for all things gaming, stick with IGN.